The modern consumer journey functions as a loop of digital gratification. The discrete transaction, the act of exchanging currency for permanent ownership, has largely disappeared from the modern marketplace. In its place, the marketplace has adopted a systemic process of assetization. Subscription models reformat physical and digital goods into rent-generating properties. Unlike a sale that builds buyer equity, these assets remain behind a paywall, requiring a continuous, ongoing fee for usage. This shift removes consumer autonomy, compelling individuals to participate in an access economy where daily life requires a perpetual monthly toll. While consumers are currently channeling more capital into the market than at any prior point in history, they end each year with zero physical or digital equity. This reality prompts a difficult question. Why is an entire generation opting into an economic structure designed specifically to strip away their long-term wealth and autonomy? Human neurology has a defense mechanism against resource loss. The right anterior insular cortex illuminates during a cash transaction, signaling the literal pain of paying. This distress signal competes with the nucleus accumbens, which processes dopamine rewards, acting as a biological brake against overspending. Buy now, pay later schemes were specifically engineered to chemically bypass this pain response by decoupling the acquisition of a product from its financial loss. By delaying the payment, the distress signal goes dark. The emotional cost is effectively anesthetized, allowing the dopamine pathway to dominate the transaction. Once the biological brake is disabled, consumers become vulnerable to the Diderot effect. This phenomenon occurs when a single novel purchase creates a sense of dissatisfaction with everything else a person owns, disrupting their identity. It is named for the 18th century philosopher who bought an elegant scarlet robe and felt compelled to replace every other object to match it. This disruption triggers a cascade of subsequent purchases to restore lifestyle coherence. Modern commerce weaponizes this effect by matching it with the frictionless nature of deferred payments. A single impulse buy can rapidly escalate into an unstoppable chain of consumption. This environment has transformed the impulse buy into a biologically engineered certainty, successfully removing individual self-control from the transaction. The biological hack initiates the spending. To ensure the cash flow never stops, the digital interface takes control. E-commerce platforms deploy dark patterns, user interface designs constructed to manipulate behavior against a consumer's own intent. The Roach Motel technique makes enrollment in a recurring subscription instantaneous, while cancellation requires a labyrinth of obfuscated steps, hidden menus, and repetitive warnings. Amazon deployed this through a system known internally as the Iliad flow, a multi-page maze of traps built to exhaust users and dissuade them from canceling their memberships. These deceptive designs inflict such severe economic damage that federal regulators have initiated widespread crackdowns on forced continuity practices. The economic viability of these platforms depends on consumer exhaustion and the exploitation of decision fatigue rather than the quality of the service. The recurring digital payment serves as an inescapable cage, providing firms with a mechanism to extract maximum lifetime value from their users. These neurochemical hacks and digital traps function as the structural tools of a specific macroeconomic transition. This model, defined as rentier capitalism, focuses on the control of existing assets instead of the traditional creation of new goods. Under these conditions, firms derive income from their monopoly over essential infrastructure, extracting access fees from markets with limited competition. The objective of this system is a society composed of non-owners who must pay perpetual rent just to exist in the modern world. This transition is a documented agenda, discussed openly at global forums, and summarized by the concept that the public of the future will own nothing and be happy. This reality has achieved total saturation. We rent our software, our entertainment, our vehicles, and our homes. Through engineered digital loops, we even rent our own neurochemistry. If you own nothing, and you are contractually bound to pay forever, who exactly holds the deed to your life? Look around any typical American suburb today, and the houses seem exactly like they always have. But beneath the surface, these physical neighborhoods are quietly being absorbed into massive corporate balance sheets. actively shutting out local families from building equity. Since the foreclosure crisis, institutional investors have deployed billions in cheap capital and algorithmic software to buy up thousands of residential properties. When a local family makes a standard bid requiring a mortgage contingency, these firms bypass the process entirely by offering cash, often over asking price. They concentrate this capital on a specific target: entry-level starter homes in high-growth Sunbelt cities like Atlanta, Charlotte, and Phoenix. By snapping up these lower-priced houses, they convert what used to be the first rung of the home ownership ladder into permanent rental fleets. This flow model illustrates a tax mechanism called the 1031 exchange. Under Section 1031 of the U.S. Tax Code, an investor can avoid paying capital gains taxes by swapping one rental property for another. They are highly incentivized to keep buying, but financially penalized if they sell a house back to an ordinary homebuyer. Looking at this diagram, you can see how homes get trapped in the system. The corporate portfolio swells, which strangles the supply of homes available on the open market. With fewer starter homes available, the prices of the remaining houses shoot up. The combination of institutional all-cash bids and these tax loops creates a structural lockout. It blocks middle-class families from building wealth, turning the housing market into a closed system that favors rental income over ownership. Real estate is only the physical manifestation of this trend. The exact same consolidation is happening across the digital architecture of the economy, creating a structure some economists call technofeudalism. In 2016, the World Economic Forum published an essay imagining a near-future city where citizens rely entirely on shared services rather than personal property. The article's utopian premise spawned a phrase that captures this new economic model perfectly: "You'll own nothing and you'll be happy." This split-screen chart compares two property systems. On the left is property as thing ownership, where you buy an item once and hold the equity. On the right is property as service streams, where a corporation owns the core asset, and you pay for continuous access to it. Notice how the right side operates. You are essentially acting as a cloud serf. Your monthly operating expenses, the perpetual fees for software, entertainment, and digital services, are directly funding the appreciating balance sheets of an elite rent-seeking class. Corporations secure these continuous payments through the illusion of frictionless convenience. By bundling usage into invisible, automated flat-rate fees, they separate the pain of paying from the act of consuming. You never feel the tick of the meter. Replacing ownership with ongoing licensing turns household income into permanent corporate rent. It uses the ease of a subscription to mask a steady drain on personal capital, creating long-term dependency in the name of luxury. To break out of this continuous loop of wealth extraction, we have to step out of the modern financial matrix entirely and look to the ancient world for an escape plan. 2,000 years ago, the Roman philosopher Seneca recognized the exact same trap of endless consumerism. He was one of the wealthiest men in the empire, yet he deliberately advocated for practices of strict physical austerity. Seneca wrote his letters during the Saturnalia, Rome's winter festival of feasting, wild revelry, and extreme indulgence. While the rest of the city plunged into excess, he saw how easily luxury breeds weakness. His prescription was a practice known as voluntary discomfort. He advised setting aside specific days to live on coarse food and wear cheap clothes, confronting hardship head-on. By staring down the conditions you fear, you realize that poverty is survivable. This graph tracks the hedonic treadmill. Indulging in comfort raises your baseline, requiring massive spikes of luxury to feel brief satisfaction before crashing down. But practicing deliberate deprivation resets the treadmill. Erratic spikes disappear, replaced by stable equanimity, and the anxiety of losing status vanishes. True financial power doesn't come from fulfilling every material desire. It comes from stripping away the fear of going without. Once you no longer crave the friction-free life, the rent seekers lose their leverage over your wallet. The first step to reclaiming your autonomy is to deliberately sabotage the frictionless traps in your daily life. Cancel the automated payments, turn off the digital autopilots, and force yourself to physically feel every dollar leaving your bank account. This dual timeline chart illustrates the math of true ownership. Line A represents the perpetual renter, bleeding cash forever through subscriptions. Line B shows the path of acquiring hard equity, It hurts initially with a steep upfront cost, but over decades, it results in long-term compounding growth. Reaching that upward trajectory means rejecting performative luxury. It requires accepting the burdens of maintenance, repairing things when they break, and buying assets outright instead of licensing them by the month. Every dollar you preserve by rejecting the subscription matrix has a single vital purpose: converting your labor into hard equity. You consolidate your savings to purchase real, physical assets, outbidding the institutions trying to buy your neighborhood. Stepping out of the passive consumer stream provides a psychological liberation that money alone cannot buy. You stop trading your future for convenience and secure a level of absolute autonomy. Choosing a more disciplined path allows you to reclaim ownership of the ground you stand on. This provides a level of security and freedom that a convenient, subscription-based life can never offer.